You are in a world where every click, every scroll, and every like is a breadcrumb leading you further down a path you didn't choose. That's the digital road to serfdom, and big tech are the architects holding up the one-way sign. Welcome back to the Deeper Thinking podcast. Today we're unpacking Friedrich Hayek's The Road to Serfdom. It is a surprisingly relevant text, although written back in 1944, that can help us understand our digital doom. Hayek was worried about those classic control freaks, fascists and communists. Not much has changed. But we're talking about the original ones, who wanted a world where everyone dresses the same, thinks the same, and sings the same off-key anthem about the glorious leader. Hayek saw this as a slippery slope to tyranny, where individual freedom gets crushed under the weight of the collective good. He probably never imagined a world where corporations could wield even more power than politicians. Fast forward to today, and we're marching down that road to serfdom, but with a new GPS guiding the way. Forget Big Brother, it's big tech that's ushering us into a digital dystopia, one like button at a time. While Hayek feared clumsy government control, today's digital landscape reveals a far more sophisticated power play. It's not government bureaucrats prying into your life. It's corporations. And unlike the government, big tech doesn't need to be slow and obvious. Instead, it operates through the subtle, persistent nudges of an algorithm, always watching, always learning. It's no longer the state that molds our choices. It's the platforms we use every day. Freedom is reduced to a curated feed, individual choice distilled into a predictable stream of data. Hayek was all about individual freedom, the kind where you get to choose your own path, not the one TikTok's algorithm thinks you should follow. He was worried about the government taking over the economy and turning us into mindless drones. But today, we've traded the power of big government for algorithms. Hayek believed that the more the government sticks its nose into the economy, the more our freedom shrinks. His worst nightmare? A world where politicians pick out your groceries, your playlists, and your dating profile picture, swap out government for big tech, and that's us today. It's not some grumpy bureaucrat in an ill-fitting suit making decisions about your life. It's those sneaky little algorithms whispering sweet nothings in your ear, telling you what to buy, what to watch, and who to befriend. And what's worse is that they know more about you than your ex, your therapist, and the NSA combined. In Shoshana Zuboff's book, The Age of Surveillance Capitalism, she pulls back the curtain on big tech's data mining operation. They're not just collecting your data to show you a few targeted ads. They're building a virtual voodoo doll of you, mapping your every desire, your every fear, your every late-night online shopping spree. They're using this data to turn you into a predictable consumer, a mindless cog in their profit machine. Instead of the government forcing you into a mold, as Hayek would see it, it's TikTok's For You page, keeping you endlessly scrolling, keeping you hypnotized with an endless stream of personalized content. You thought you were just innocently browsing? Nope. TikTok knows you secretly crave hours of those oddly satisfying videos of middle-aged mums dancing in the kitchen, darkly lit men giving you unqualified but very earnest advice, and an anonymous metal device squeezing an unfathomably large black head. And before you know it, you've spent an hour looking at the little internet, your shoulder hurts, and your social life consists of sending the very same TikToks via WhatsApp. Michel Foucault, a famous French thinky person, called this biopower. He wasn't talking about washing machine detergent. He was referring to the subtle ways we're controlled, not just physically, but mentally. It's like those algorithms are whispering in your ear, shaping your thoughts and desires without you even realizing it. Big tech isn't interested in throwing you in jail. They want to trap you in their digital playground where the games are rigged and the house always wins. Every time you scroll, click, or like, you're building your own velvet cage. Okay, so it is a jail, just a metaphorical one. Big tech wants to maximize engagement. But what does that even mean? It's not just about keeping you glued to your screen. It's about isolating you, disconnecting you from the real world and replacing genuine human connection with fleeting digital interactions. It's about creating a generation of lonely individuals who are more comfortable interacting with their phones than with each other. But it makes you question the whole maximize engagement strategy. Is it really serving us, or is it just serving the interests of big tech? And what about the loneliness epidemic? Technology was supposed to bring us closer together, but it seems to be doing the opposite. Your mom's generation used to have Tupperware parties. The worst party ever, right? It was the 80s, but it was really about getting out of the house, building community, one plastic lid at a time. And going to the local shops wasn't just about buying stuff. It was the hope that you would bump into people you knew, have a chat, argue with the butcher. So, what's the fix? Well, it's not as easy as chucking your phone in a drawer and retreating to a cabin in the woods. The real trick is figuring out how to make this tech work for us instead of letting it run the show. Maybe we should demand a bit more transparency from big tech, or at least start questioning why we're letting algorithms have so much say in our lives. But more importantly, we've got to remember that real connections aren't found through endless scrolls and likes. Maybe it's time to step away from the digital hamster wheel, have that awkward chat with your neighbour. Or maybe not. You decide.